Report a shot fired at officers trying to stop the vehicle.
We have one officer shot.
We got shots fired. Sounded like an automatic firearm.
Copy, code red, shots fired.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the warehouse.
Now it's Shots Fired with your hosts TJ Kurgan, Dinah Death Milberg, and the lovely Krystal Powers.
And we're back. It is Shots Fired. It's Saturday morning, everybody, in Missouri. And you're listening to 93.3 Real Talk. This is TJ Kurgan, a.k.a. Sig Glockencolt, your local warlord. I am with the lovely Krystal Powers.
Can't say hello, so I'll say howdy.
Howdy. And we also have Dinah Death Milberg.
Yo.
Alex.
Yes.
What's going on, man?
Stuff and things, man. We had that night vision class, which by the time the last show aired was already over.
Right.
But one hell of a turnout. You showed up for a little bit, and
I actually had a ball that night.
That was way more fun than I expected.
Yeah, so Shots Fired is a radio show. For those of you that are stumbling across this show, because we have 50,000 watts of awesomeness now, we are a show that talks about self-defense, the Second Amendment, protecting your home, protecting your family, and all things freedom. We also analyze crime and shootings of noteworthiness.
Yep.
We talk about tactics and tactical gear and things like that. It's kind of like a hunting show,
But cooler.
but for bad guys instead of deer.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't just generically say people.
Oh no, we do hunt those too, but
just the bad ones.
only in places like Syria.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Raqqa's good this time of year, I think.
It is. It's a good season.
So anyway, if you listened to last week's show, you know that we're doing a Sweet 16.
Yep.
And last week we got through 12. Each one of us are supposed to pick four of our personal four best guns for the zombie apocalypse or the Chinese invasion, whichever comes first.
It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, or it could be Chinese zombies. We went through that last week. If you didn't hear last week's show, you can pick up all of our shows everywhere you can get podcasting. So if you're on iPhone or Android or whatever, just go to your podcast software, search Shots Fired, and subscribe to the podcast. Give us a thumbs up. Comment on some of the 170 some odd shows that we've done.
That's kind of a lot.
Yeah, it is kind of a lot.
And make sure it's the one with the Spartan helmet, because I found out there is other shots fired.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's all kinds of shots fired. Evidently, I don't own the trademark on
Bunch
that
of
the way I
phony
do.
fakes.
Liberal Tears and Tactical SHT.
Aye.
But anyway, so we're going to talk about the Sweet 16 of guns towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
We actually have F.D.E., the Notorious F.D.E., our producer, is going to come in. Our video producer. We don't want to slight Drew here.
Yeah.
Our audio
Easy
producer. But F.D.E. is going to come in and he's going to give his four zombie apocalypse guns. That way we can begin the voting process on the Sweet 16 and narrow it down to the top four and see how many guns each of ours make into the process.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get into that, we've got things to talk about.
There's a lot today.
There's a lot going on
Yeah.
in the world of the Second Amendment, the world of crime in the St. Louis, Missouri area. I guess we'll start out, we know that the Attorney General is going after the prosecuting attorney in St. Louis for absolutely dereliction of duty and not enforcing laws, not putting criminals in prison, and basically putting victims in danger and putting the residents of St. Louis City and anybody that enters into the city in danger.
Right.
But that's spilling into some of the outlying counties as well. I mean, crime is getting worse everywhere, not just in the city. It's at nuclear levels in the city. Mm-hmm. But we just had a woman shot and killed, Alex.
Yeah. No, so she survived.
She did survive in a Schnucks parking lot in St. Peter's.
And here's a mistake, too. I thought this was late at night. This was 8 a.m. This was not, after dark, 9 p.m. This was 8 a.m. in St. Peter's.
Was she robbed?
Yeah, so
it was reported as a robbery in the parking lot of the Schnucks in St. Peter's. And she was shot.
She was, her husband, I guess, was taking the shopping cart back to the little corral thing.
We are going to revisit that topic, by the way. Continue.
She was sitting in the passenger seat, was approached by this individual, and he tried to rob her purse, was the original thing. He tried to yank her purse out of her hand. I thought it was a carjacking at first, but it was actually a purse snatch. Tried to steal her purse. I guess she tried to fight back and not hand it over, at which point he shot her in the face through the ear.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Tyrone Miller of O'Fallon, Illinois.
Tyrone, so that's... I'm not really good at profiling. I'm going to say
Lebanese.
He sounds... Well, I was thinking more like middle-class white guy, lives in suburban O'Fallon, has a family of 2 and maybe a Labrador.
Or not.
A poodle.
Poodle?
Labradoodle. Okay. Labradoodle? Yeah, one of them. So purse snatching outside a St. Peter's Schnucks grocery store. And he is still at large, by the way.
So literally the husband's taking the cart to the shopping cart thing, and this guy murder whacks his wife in the head because she won't give up the purse. And the guy had a gun. Yeah,
charging documents allege Miller walked up to the 52-year-old woman who was sitting in the passenger seat of a vehicle at about 8 p.m.
Okay, so it was nighttime.
Yeah.
Okay.
March 3rd, while her husband was loading groceries in the car in the parking lot, taking the cart, at the Schnucks 48 Plaza on 94. He shot the woman in the ear while attempting to steal her purse. The woman's husband told St. Peter's PD that he heard his wife yell no before the sound of gunshots.
Oh, gosh.
And then husband spotted the man getting into a silver SUV. He is connected to a string of similar purse snatchings, including a robbery outside a Deerberg store in Shrewsbury. And this is from one article. Another article was he's also connected to a purse snatching right here in Chesterfield.
Okay. So do we know anything about those other purse snatchings? So this dude is still at large.
Correct. This of today.
This murderous Tyrone is still meandering about the Deerbergs and Schnucks parking lots of West County, St. Charles County, Missouri, looking to murder whack our wives to take their purses. That's fabulous work, law enforcement.
Here's the thing I gotta add too. Tyrone requires a colostomy bag and may be wearing a satchel to conceal it. He is possibly with his girlfriend, who is also a person of interest in this case, Janiah Dobbs.
So the question is, do you know in the other 2 robberies, was a gun involved?
I've not been able to find anything about that.
Because, I'm a huge believer in evil, and this sounds like this guy is absolutely evil. But I'm also a huge believer of stupidity, and just looking at the picture of Tyrone, it kind of screams, I'm an idiot. And so I almost wonder if it was a sympathetic trigger pull. Did he really just... Because if it wasn't a sympathetic trigger pull, if he really did just murder whack her, wow, he needs to not be at large. Yeah. Like somebody needs to dirt nap this guy as soon
he also needs to be not
as humanly possible. So if you have a wife that you love and you don't want her dirt napped, I would highly recommend taking a look at the picture of Tyrone here, so that you get an idea of what this guy looks like in case he pulls up next to you in the parking lot.
He also has an extensive was used criminal history, including kidnapping and armed criminal action. So there you go.
We already know
firearm has been involved.
He's a winner
multiple times.
Yeah.
Here's his girlfriend Janiah.
Janiah's cute. Huh. Janiah's cute.
Okay.
So this is an example of failed...
Looks like if Cedric the Entertainer put his finger in a light socket. I'm just going to go with that to be able to describe it to the listeners.
The girlfriend, right?
This is the first time I've seen that. So typically in these type of criminal actions, we've been hearing a lot about a Hyundai or something like that, one of their Korean cars.
Right, because they're easy to steal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He actually used a rental car. A gray Honda CRV with Virginia plates. The vehicle was rented from Avis on February 22nd, and then it was found ditched, shocker, in East St. Louis.
Ah, okay. Well, people like this are out there, folks, and they're targeting you in your grocery store parking lots. And this is why this show is big about situational awareness, right? Don't be looking at your phone when you're sitting there in the parking lot or you're in the car or you're walking to and from the store. When you're in transitional spaces, be aware of what's going on around you. And, if somebody puts a gun to your head and asks for your purse and you're sitting in the car, give the purse. Don't fight. There's nothing in that purse that's worth getting shot in the ear for. Now,
Give it up and then cancel all your cards and debit card immediately. Problem solved.
Right. I feel horrible for this woman and for her husband.
I'm glad she survived.
You know, I'm kind of proud
so she
of
did
her,
survive.
though.
Yeah, she
like,
did
she's,
survive.
Okay.
She's a spicy lady.
So wait a minute. What kind of gun do you shoot somebody in the ear with and they survive?
A Jennings 22.
Jennings 22?
I don't know why. Just that always seems like the.
It could be. We need to find out what
Could it
kind of
be
gun
a-
this is.
could
How do
it
you
be a
shoot somebody
high
in the ear? A high point? I would not want to get shot in the ear by a high point. I mean,
No.
you know.
I'm just going to bring up high points at every single show.
So she was in critical though, right? So
Yeah.
like she was shot in the head. This wasn't like
Yeah.
a grazing of the ear.
No,
Critical
I'm curious
means.
as to like how. Yeah, it wasn't good.
I'll tell you what, if you are in law enforcement in St. Charles County or St. Peters and you can give us some more details as to what went down in this shooting, it would be great to hear. You can DM me on Instagram at sig_Glock or any one of us for that matter, Alex at Dynadeath Milberg. Or
It went through her ear and exited out her jaw, and she's okay.
Oh, that's
that does sound like a 22.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that.
Small
That's-
caliber,
What kind of
something that
You're
ricochets.
not having that happen
angle
with
is.
a
That
9.
sounds like he shot her while she wasn't even looking at him.
Yeah,
That's a
it
weird-
could have been like, it enter right between the ear and the jawbone
Came
and then
down,
deflect
yeah.
off. The jawbone's pretty
Well,
hard.
think about it. Natural instinct is if somebody pulls up and puts a gun to your head, a lot of people are just going to look away
Yeah.
and turn their head like that. So that's probably what happened. She turned
If you're
her
within
head.
that close, I assumed he's within reach proximity. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
Yeah, he must have had his hands on the purse.
It had to have
I
been
don't
a
know if I'm
22.
suicidal, but if you're close enough to touch me, I'm like shoving my hand in your face. I'm not going to like flinch. If you're
Yeah.
about to shoot me,
Well,
I
I'll
don't
tell you
know.
what, if you're actually touching me with the gun, that's a different story. I'm going to take it away from you and I'm going to kill you with it. But we'll talk about that when we get back from the break. No, Krystal, I don't know how much rage is pent up inside your tiny little body and how many years it's been pent up. Can you please elaborate?
Well, we were just talking about if
But we were off the air.
we were. If somebody did that to me, I would be so mad. Like I'm sure that this poor woman is probably furious, among other things. But if I don't know, I've got a lot of pent up rage here, and if somebody did that to me, like the audacity,
Putting a gun in your face or up
we're not
against your
going to
head.
have words. Let's just put it that
So
way.
you would fight back if you're in the car and I come up to you and I'm silly enough to put the gun to touch you with the gun, right? I'm not standing off you. I'm actually touching you with the gun. Are you going to try to fight? There is a way
Yeah.
that I have been taught to fight in that situation. It's actually fairly brilliant, but and it almost always works.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So in answer to your question, without a doubt, no, not without a doubt. This is situationally dependent. This is all based on the theoretical situation in my head. If you're close enough for me to reach and you're not 7 feet tall, I'm going to take every ounce of my being. I survived so many things up until this point. There's no bleeping way I'm going out. Mm-mm.
You're going to fight like the third monkey on the ramp to the Ark and it's raining?
It's going to get ugly.
Okay. Even if the guy has a gun?
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
I like that attitude.
I will remove your gun, and I won't use it on you in the sense of shooting you. I will make sure it's slow, and I will beat you with it until you are dead or I can no longer lift my arms.
I want to make sure we point out here the only way you're going to
Allegedly.
physically remove the guy's gun is if he is touching you with it or extremely close, right?
Yeah, if it's within half arm's length is my rule of thumb.
Typically, in a carjack situation, there are two bad guys. Most of the thugs know that they need, there's always,
right.
you always look for a +1. When
Right.
somebody's talking to you, automatically assume it's a distraction.
Yep.
Look for the +1. Oh, hey, man, do you have directions to look around? Somebody's coming up behind you, right? There's always a +1. And that's why carjacking, when there is a +1, there is no way to defend yourself. You pretty much just have to give it up, right?
Right.
Because if there's two guys, they both got guns, you're not John Wick, right? Even if you do have a gun, you're probably not going to survive that, especially since you're still sitting in the bullet magnet that is the car.
Yeah, your
right?
odds at that your best bet is to fort and get away if you're still
Yeah, the
running
car
or
is your
something.
best weapon
Yeah,
if you're in it and
absolutely.
in the driver's seat. But in this case, she was in the passenger seat. In this case, though, if someone presses a gun against you, right? I always see this in movies. I love it. Like I was watching a movie the other night with my wife. It was one of these Mexican soap operas, which I love watching because they're so full of awesome drama and hot chicks. But the gun handling.
Learn
and
something new about TJ every day.
The gun handling and the tactics.
You admit over the radio.
The gun handling and the tactics are usually pretty bad and laughably so, right?
Yeah.
Like yesterday, there was this one. The guy's aiming an M4 at another guy, and he's got a flashlight on top of the forward rail, right, with an A pillar, right? It's got the A post at the end and a flashlight, and then like an EOTech. So all you see through the EOTech is the flashlight. Right?
Wow.
And this is like Mexican special forces. But anyway,
Well, I mean, that might be accurate. It is Mexico.
but one of the things
Do
I
you think
noticed.
the rifle shoots one MOA?
One yard MOA.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed that I was laughing about, because I make fun of everything in TV shows when it comes to guns or tactics, because I'm a man. But what I noticed was a trained CIA agent, was letting somebody press a gun up against her head and walk her around. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
No.
Because when the gun is against you, you can actually take it away. If you're trained, if you've trained it's super easy to disarm someone if they're touching you with the weapon. And that's typically the mistake. If you're a criminal and you're looking to do bad things, make sure you have standoff distance. A good 3 feet is your friend.
Don't give criminals ideas.
There's no criminals listening to 93.3 on a Saturday morning.
You never know.
Whatever. Maybe if they're playing this, if they're playing this at the Warren County, jail, we might actually be educating some hoods. But anyway, so the point I'm making is, in a carjack situation, if they put the gun up against your temple, that's actually a gift. It's a gift from God, because if you want to fight back, all you do is you put your hands up, which is what you expect people to do when you point a gun at them, right? Put your hands up. Now, where are my hands compared to the gun?
Much closer.
Okay, the gun's right here next to my head. The hands are right by my ears because I put my hands up. And then you just feign forward. You lean forward towards the steering wheel. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. And then all you have to do is gun. Right, you lean backwards, pushing your hand.
You took Al's class, didn't
I did
you?
take Al's class, and it was good. Al is a former Green Beret CIA guy that we've done some training with, and so. But I wouldn't recommend trying this. So if you get jacked in the Schnucks parking lot later, don't go. I got trained by TJ on the radio. Make sure you sign up.
Wait. Have you seen the video of
Yes.
that? I think she's a policewoman.
Oh,
who
the one
is-
that gets the guy choking her from behind with the
Yes,
seatbelt?
she's
That's
sitting in the driver's
glorious.
seat of a car, and she's showing you how
You
to
gotta
get
get two
out.
fingers in.
If somebody is sitting behind you and wraps a cord, whatever it was, around you, this is how
she
you
used
get
the
out.
umbilical cord technique.
Yeah.
So if you're an EMT, you know that if a woman's giving birth and the baby's being choked by the umbilical cord, you insert 2 fingers over the face of the baby underneath the cord, and that keeps the baby able to breathe. And the great thing is you have to keep your hand in there all the way to the hospital. Right?
Wow.
Not awkward at all.
No.
But so the woman you're talking about does this whole video about basically using the 2-finger umbilical cord save method to get out of being in a rear choke from somebody in the back of the car.
That's not gonna work. Maybe if your toddler's trying to choke you with your seatbelt.
Oh, so she's along the lines of that Detroit whatever. What's
Dust.
Dust. What's it stand for?
Detroit Urban Survival Training.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about that guy who gives all of the
all the videos that are
I
memed about him
never-
is like the guy does the move and then ends up in the entrance to heaven.
Yeah,
it's
those
basically
are
doing
the
the
only
moves-
ones I'd see.
Basically doing the moves I just told you to do.
Yes.
But he does it in every situation. He does it ridiculously.
Following his
It's a troll.
instructions.
It's a troll account. And the beauty is he never admits to it being.
Is it really? I don't
But
think
that's
it
the
is.
thing. That's why he's so rich now.
Just
is
like
because
Boda.
he has never. He's never acted. He's never admitted that it's just for. It's all a joke.
If he's a real instructor, then
think
I
it
fully
is.
believe Liver King is really all natty.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you think our listeners know who Liver King is? I don't know. If you know who
Some
Liver
of them,
King is,
I'm sure.
say it in the app. Tap that app. Because this show has an app, you know that?
That's a true story.
93.3
By the way, did
Real
anybody
Talk.
look
You
at
can
that
chat with us.
Saturday?
I did.
Okay,
Oh, you
I
did?
completely
Yeah.
forgot till
I
about
did.
10 minutes ago.
No, I did. I will chat with the listeners in the app on Saturday mornings if I have the time.
In my defense, I was on the retail floor, so I couldn't.
Yeah. So let's talk about something else. I just left Warrenton, beautiful downtown
You got it.
Warrenton, Missouri.
Warrenton.
Warrenton?
Yeah, you gotta say it
I left
correctly.
Warrenton, Missouri.
Warrenton.
Why were you in Wharton?
I went to the Rotary Club meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because I look like a Rotary Club member, right? It was actually pretty awesome. So I was invited by my good friend Lloyd, Actually, Lloyd's been on this show before. He's the guy that does the
cards.
Greeting cards.
The greeting cards.
Yeah.
And he's having tremendous success with that, by the way. But anyway, he invited me to go because Missouri's Attorney General was speaking at the Warrenton Rotary Club.
Oh, I wish I'd known that.
So like,
thing.
a little bitty room full of local yokels, and we got to talk and actually ask questions to Missouri's Attorney General, which was really neat. I got a selfie with him and all the good stuff. The guy's legit. I really like him. He spent a lot of time talking about the situation in St. Louis City and how they will remove her from office.
Outstanding.
But the one thing I talked to him about, and this is essentially breaking news, and now the show's on Saturday. This happened yesterday. Today's Thursday. So it's not really breaking news anymore, but a federal judge struck down the Missouri Second Amendment Protection Act. What that means when we come back after this. So the Fed boys technically can come a knocking with the local sheriff's department or with the state highway patrol because the Missouri Second Amendment Protection Act has been struck down in federal court as unconstitutional. So you know that feeling we always have whenever a federal court judge strikes down a gun law, like as unconstitutional, like with the arm braces or bump stocks or whatever.
This is the opposite.
This is the opposite of that feeling. Basically, a federal judge said that basically in no way is this constitutional, and that the state is basically interfering with federal rights, and that's unconstitutional. You can read about it, just Google it. But I actually had a chance to speak in Warrenton to Missouri Attorney General Andrew Baily today, and he actually gave us some good input. Now you can read about this as well, but he has already begun the appeals process and asked for a stay. Right.
Nice.
So we have to watch this. So it's going to the 8th district, right?
Yeah.
So Missouri's in the federal 8th district, and so the way that works, for those of you that don't necessarily understand federal Supreme Court justice, right? Federal law, it'll go to the 8th district, which means that they will randomly pick 3 judges from the 8th district to hear the case, and if 2 of those 3 judges, a majority, says it's unconstitutional still, then it will get appealed to what's called en banc. Okay, ENBANKE, I think, en banc.
Yeah.
En banc review is where, these 3 judges met, 2 judges said it's unconstitutional. Now they go for a panel of 11 federal judges. Okay, and then it's a majority out of that 11. All right, so 6 or more have to agree with the three's majority.
Yeah.
If they then show it as unconstitutional in the en banc review, and you have that many judges agree, then the last ditch effort would be to go to the Supreme Court with it. Mm-hmm. If the Supreme Court refuses to hear it, the en banc panel stands as law. If the Supreme Court decides to hear it, then obviously the case continues, and it could even be more years down the road before it happens. Now, if Andrew Baily can get a stay, that means that the law will stay in place throughout that entire appeals process.
Mm-hmm. Which would be nice.
But right now, as of this moment in time, without the stay, our force field is no longer up and activated.
So, you're telling me I need to go get some JB Weld and fill in that 3rd pinhole later?
3rd pinhole, take all those suppressors you made in the kitchen out of oil filters and all that stuff.
Man, don't worry. It was coconut oil suppressors. I didn't use vegetable oil.
Everything's
or
fine.
Like that. No, for real though. So what happens if it goes to the 8th, and the 8th deems that it was constitutional? Does it still go through the rest of the process, or is it dead in the water there?
I'm still thinking about shooting a suppressor with coconut oil. If you shoot a bad guy with a suppressor full of coconut oil, can you feel good about that because you're not poisoning him?
My first thought was would it make it smell like pina coladas? Would it burn and smell like that? Would be
I kind of
nice.
like the idea. Liberal Tears gun oil makes it smell like bacon if you put that in your suppressor.
So do you remember?
Wait, no, does it really?
Yeah, no, for real.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of Liberal Tears gun oil?
Yeah.
Yeah, Liberal Tears gun oil, Liberal Tears coffee. You can get it at TacticalSht.Official in St. Peter's. Or you can order it online at liberaltears.net. But Liberal Tears is an absolutely excellent firearms lubricant, and they made it smell like bacon, so it smells like freedom, because all gun oil stinks. Well, with the exception of Hoppy's number 9.
Yeah, no, there's something
and
glorious about that smell.
And the stuff they pack AKs in. What's that called? Cosmoline. Cosmoline is erotic to me.
So, this was when we were in the old shop. To date this for you, I wanted to do a test because this is when it came out that Larry Vickers was promoting. I can't remember the name of that gun oil, but they came out that it was like one molecule away from being vegetable oil or something. So to prove a point, how lube is lube, I lubed up my bolt carrier group in my AR with extra virgin olive oil. Mm-hmm. Not only did it run flawless, but every time I shot a mag through it, it smelled like Olive Garden breadsticks.
Oh, I like it.
It was epic.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, now I'm hungry. Great. Yeah, it was pretty awesome, though. Like, every 10, 15 rounds starts to heat up. I'm like, somebody get Olive Garden? It was amazing.
I bet your suppressor would be even quieter if you dipped it in Olive Garden Alfredo sauce before you shot it.
Wow. An Alfredo whisper pickle?
Alfredo dipped whisper pickle.
Well, I know what my next science experiment is.
I also, when talking to the Attorney General of Missouri, I also commended him for joining the Frack Action lawsuit.
Yes.
Being Missouri's one of the 25 states that are suing Eric Garland and the ATF. And what I really love about Mr. Baily is, he is all about getting rid of the ATF, abolishing the ATF. So
does this seem like an actual possibility?
No.
Probably not. No. Too big to fail. Remember the Ford and GM thing back in the old days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you get bureaucratic administrations that can, so like what the AG was saying today, when you have the reason separation in government is important, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can become a slave. Very simply, because if the people that make the laws also are the same people that enforce the laws and also the people that adjudicate the laws, that is not democracy.
You mean the ATF?
Yes,
Isn't
I mean
there
the
a
ATF.
Sylvester Stallone movie about that?
Yeah. Now, the ATF doesn't really adjudicate the laws. The federal judges still do that.
Oh, Judge Dredd.
Waco
That's
says
what it's
different,
called.
sir.
Have you guys ever watched Judge Dredd?
I have not.
I am the law. Yes, of course I have.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me. Continue.
I'm really surprised. I'm surprised that you're drinking out of a plastic water bottle. I mean, my bottle is glass because I don't want forever plastics in me.
Touché.
I thought you taught me that. Why are you drinking out of a plastic bottle?
Yeah.
Well,
Nerd.
I only drink spring water, and until I get a filter on my tap at home, I get a new bottle every day.
One of those lesser of two evils things.
Is it a lesser of two evils?
Yeah, I mean, with all the health stuff, trying to be cognizant of what's going in my body and how that's affecting me, and my hormones and everything else.
She's got some of those.
I've got a lot of those, and I'm trying to, if you get into like trying to make yourself healthy, it's an endless pit of like. At some point, you have to just say,
"Can you really make yourself healthy, or is it? You never really arrive, right?
That's true.
It's a journey.
Well, some people try to become empowered, and it only makes them more fearful because there's so many negative. There's so much toxic.
You mean the way you've got Alex and I both scared to death of seed oils?
Seed oils are very.
I'm more scared
legit.
of seed oils than I am insurgents.
Good. You should. Of what?
Insurgents.
I'm more scared of seed
I feel
oils
like
than
that's
I am
fair.
of Krystal's hormones.
True.
Yeah, but you don't live with me, so you don't get to see the full effect of that.
Thank God.
No, but like I don't know. You just have to draw a line somewhere. You can't. Some people get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a stressor, and the whole point
Kind
of
of defeats the purpose.
It totally does.
Yeah.
The whole
I
point of
hear you.
educating yourself is to know better, and then you do better. But you don't have to like when I posted that thing about cashews, and you're like, oh great, I can't eat cashews anymore. It's
I
like,
was
no,
like,
no,
I
you
was
just
eating a
have to be
bowl of
aware.
cashews thinking I'm doing healthy stuff, and she posted on Instagram that cashews have mold in them, and I'm like, I like my
They have been
cashews.
So does
tested.
cheese. What's wrong with mold? Killed anybody?
Oh, okay. I would like to introduce you to a new page on Instagram. I'm gonna have to. No, molds are actually
We're
pretty
gonna
horrific.
need to get
and they're in a lot.
You know what we need to do?
They're in
We
a
need
lot
to
of
create a
houses.
Shots Fired page so that we could all three put all the crazy stuff that we like on there. We could do that.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
We should do that. If you want us to create a Shots Fired Instagram page or Facebook page, I guess we could connect them both together.
Yeah.
Let us know on the app, and you can download the app from anywhere that in any app store. It's Real Talk 93.3, and then you can actually listen to this podcast anytime you want, and you can talk to us by chatting in the app all day long. All right, the last thing we need to talk about before we get into the guns of the apocalypse, the Sweet 16. First of all, can somebody bring in F.D.E., formerly known as Notoriously? Bring him in because he needs to bring in his guns so we can get 16. But we need to talk about the American citizens abducted, 2 of which were slain in Mexico by the cartel.
Who just came out and apologized?
Yes, well, I just saw that.
Yeah.
No.
So first of all, the conservative media has gone ape crap with this story showing American citizens abducted in broad daylight across the border in Mexico, and it shows the picture of them, and they kind of look like Tyrone. And you could tell by looking at them that they were.
Not there to work on their tan.
My dog, I have an old dog, and he likes to crap in the house, and so we have to put the crap in a bag. And my wife calls it an tea bag. And these people looked like tea bags.
I was wondering where that was going. Okay.
And so, you look at this picture and you're like, okay, 3 thugs and a female thug get murder whacked or get abducted. What were they there doing?
Yeah.
Why would they get abducted? They didn't look like money, right? I'm profiling them, but these individuals, these American citizens, did not look like they had Rolexes or anything of value to steal, or would be the type of person you would kidnap for ransom, which is big in Mexico.
And the cartels
right?
typically stay away from murder whacking tourists.
Yeah, these people, they shot up their car, got them out, put them on the ground, abducted them, and then murder whacked 2 of them.
Yeah.
Well, now...
That kind of sounds like a hit.
As of 3 hours ago, a photo surfaced of what purportedly shows 5 men responsible for the murder of 2 Americans last week. They were allegedly handcuffed and abandoned in the streets of Matamoros with a message left by the cartel apologizing for the death of 3 people. 2 American citizens and a Mexican citizen saying they are the individuals responsible. So basically, this cartel death squad either screwed up and hit the wrong car, and because they got such negative press about it, or maybe the CIA was like, hey, you're going to need to, give these guys up, or we're
find people and we'll call.
We're going to stop giving you machine guns, and you're going to stop giving us drugs. We don't want that to happen.
Cartels neither handle defense.
But I got such a kick out of the fact that conservative media was running with this, like that these were upstanding American citizens. They were just. It was obviously
they're
just
like we're ready to go to war with Mexico over this,
right? And they were trying to use it, as part of the border crisis, blah blah blah. I mean, there's obviously a problem in Mexico with the cartels. The cartels run the country.
Yeah,
but let's worry about the problems here and the idiots that run this one before we get into that.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
hi.
He's back, everybody. You have 4 guns. We're going to have to go to break in just a second, so you're going to have to tease us with them. So if there's a zombie apocalypse or a Chinese invasion, are you ready? Do you have 4 guns that you're going to take with you as you embark upon that journey?
Yes, and I have min-maxed my class. That's some gaming terminology there for you.
Okay.
So I have 4 guns, 3 ammo types, and I'm ready to talk about them as soon as we get back from
Well,
break.
you know what? We will be right back after a word from our sponsor. Actually, we don't have any sponsors. Whoever's sponsoring the show, the radio station this week, you'll hear from them now. All right, we're back for the final segment of Shots Fired on this beautiful Saturday morning. I don't know. Why do I even say that? Because it's not Saturday yet.
And it's not beautiful.
I'm assuming it's going to be beautiful on Saturday.
No, it's going to suck.
And if people are listening to this station, it's because they love their lives and everything is good.
I love your guys' opposing perspectives. It's going to suck. Oh, it's beautiful.
Everything is awesome. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
You know what would make everything awesome?
What?
If the zombies came or the Chinese.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the Sweet 16 guns of the zombie apocalypse, right? Each of us has been asked to pick 4 guns that we could carry on or about our person or in a vehicle. They have, tanks are not allowed, right?
No.
And these guns will be part of a Sweet 16 where we will each vote, and we will let the listeners vote next week as well to narrow it down to the ultimate 4. And then, that's where we're going to leave it. We're going for 4, so it's the ultimate 4 guns of the apocalypse as per shots fired.
Yeah.
And so, Chris, you've put a lot of thought into this.
At least a good 10 minutes, which is more than I usually put into most things that I do in my life.
I'm impressed.
Having a 5-minute memory is detrimental sometimes. But yeah, so my 4 guns are really simple, and I kept it easy because I figured if it was zombie apocalypse, Chinese invasion, I gotta either maintain or carry or be able to hand these off to somebody, and I don't feel like doing new weapons platforms when the stuff has hit the fan. So
Smart man.
easy peasy lemon squeezy. Also, I got some kind of pre-planning stuff because I got to listen to the podcast when you guys did yours. So I was like, oh yeah, theirs suck. Except Fox's, which was cool, and TJ's, which was awesome, and yours, which was good. But I mean, there were positives and negatives.
It all sucks except all of you are kind of cool.
I'm sorry, you guys.
I really like Krystal's weapons mounted shopping cart.
The shopping cart, I figured that would bring a little bit too much attention to my
shopping carts make a lot of noise. It's the zombie apocalypse.
All I could hear was the Walmart cart going down the street.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Now that I messed up the mic enough. All right. So real simple. Ruger 1022. Easy peasy.
Of course.
Nice and simple to service. If it breaks down, I can probably fix it with a ballpoint pen. And ammo is everywhere.
Yeah.
You obviously didn't live through the 22 crisis a few years ago.
I did forget about that.
In Missouri, I guess. I still had boxes
Well,
of
that's the thing.
22.
Everybody has.
Yeah, and
I didn't even have a 22, and I had 10,000 rounds of
Yeah.
ammo.
And part of what we're judging these guns on in the apocalypse is how easy is it for you to scrounge up ammo by raiding your
Availability.
neighbors' houses or local
In
law enforcement agencies
worst
or whatever you
case
need
scenario,
to do.
I can always raid a Home Depot because the explosive caps for your impact hammers are 22 primers.
Yeah.
So, boom, I can stuff something down the barrel and I've made a musket.
Okay.
All right. And that's iron sight because I don't want to worry about it.
Okay.
Next one, AR-9, but it has Glock patterned magazines. So I'm taking
Wow.
a
That's
caliber.
Took a note from my subgun. Didn't? Yeah.
So it was real tough between the AR-9 and a Strybog.
Yeah.
But they're both blowback. But in AR-9, there's more parts around. Less. I know a lot of people have
that's a
Strybogs.
good
We've
point.
sold
That
a
is a good
lot of
point.
Strybogs at TS.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
They're
But it's
everywhere.
proprietary.
But I'm going to run into probably more AR-15 parts.
When you're schwacking zombies all the time, though, that's hard on that trigger group.
Exactly. That's why I'm so thankful.
They don't call it blowback for a reason.
I'm so thankful I live down the street from Tactical. I could go get another trigger. And that's with a red dot sight, definitely solar powered because I don't want to have to worry about batteries in 2 years if I live that long.
Yep.
Probably won't, but whatever. I'm going to get hungry eventually. Next one. And this one is a fun one, and I didn't hear any of you guys use this. The DRD Tactical Aptus 2. It's 2 guns in 1.
I don't even know what that is.
takedown? Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you can swap
300 blackout.
Oh, that's a good point.
5.56. So I've taken my lethal circle to around 500 yards.
Yeah.
With a 5.56, easily you can push
Roughly.
that out.
Yep.
200 yards with 300 blackout, and it's great. It's got great subsonic capabilities. I can suppress the gun easily because it is not an AR-15 system, and it's a takedown, which I can put in my backpack.
Whisper pickle.
Yeah, Whisper Pickle. Yeah. And on that, I would put a Vortex 1 to 8 because they have an extra reticle.
Yeah, good
And
choice.
it gives me some, little time to play around if I want to go hunting.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if I don't want the zombies to be
Yeah, because
chewing
you're
on me.
hungry.
Yeah.
Right.
Last thing, and I had to put it out there, my personal CZ75 SPO1.
So I was waiting to see if you would choose that or if you would choose the STI.
Okay. I know this broke TJ's heart when I didn't chose the STI.
I want to hear why.
I can't fix it by myself.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I can't fix it. by
I don't
myself.
think I would want to go into the zombie apocalypse with a 2011.
It's not that. No,
Really? It's just too precise of a piece of engineering, and
That's fair.
See, I
That's
don't
fair.
know.
I want something loosey and goosey that's just going to get the job done, going to work dirty,
19 or 17.
going to work with like.
Well, you chose the 320.
like chunks of teeth in it.
Yeah.
Whatever it might have to do.
And I figure a CZ75 is still 9mm. It's Alex, TJ, you're not aware, but I competed with a CZ75 for multiple years.
Yeah.
I love that gun. Competed with it in stock platform.
What? That's so cool.
So I'm
I
very
didn't know
good
you
with
competed.
it. Yeah,
That's cool.
I love running that. Well, no, I'm decent. I'm sorry.
What was
Oh no! I had something stuck in my throat.
Dude, now, before we walk in,
B
do
is
I have
best,
time
right?
to slightly change
Yes,
one?
I will allow as
No,
as
It's
I
not
need to
much of a
do.
change.
Okay.
as the guy that creates the rules and enforces the rules and adjudicates the rules, I say he does.
Wow.
The only change I want to make is I said originally the Barrett 240 LW.
Uh-huh.
I would like to change that after talking to one of our customers today who's SF. He brought up a machine gun I had completely forgotten, and I have ran, and I do actually like it better than the 240, which I didn't know was possible. I'd like to change it from the 240 to the Mark 48.
Oh,
It's not really much of a
But I
change.
thought you
It's
didn't
just-
like saws, and a Mark 48 is essentially a saw.
it is and it isn't, though.
I mean, that's what I have.
It's a 308.
Oh.
You're thinking Mark 46.
Yeah, I'm thinking 46. Mark 46.
48. Just because it is a little bit lighter and easier to shoulder fire. I have engaged steel targets out to almost 200 yards from the shoulder with it successfully with just an aim point.
Okay.
So
who makes it? Is that a FN?
I don't know. I need to check.
that be an FN?
I'm pretty sure it's FN.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
What do they call it? Is it just Mark 48? It doesn't
Yeah.
have a cool name like saw or...
No, there's the Mark 46, which is the 5.56, and Mark 48.
Okay, but it's still 308 and 807 62x5
Yes,
ones, which
but-
is easy to find.
But they do make conversion barrels that allows you to have it rechambered in 6.5 for a little extra zip.
So if you want to throw the beaten zone out to, say, 1,600 yards,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Yep.
Okay, so let me summarize these because we only got a couple minutes. So mine was a Mark 46 saw, so shorty 5.56 belt-fed squad machine gun, 300 blackout suppressed, basically my gun with an SDN6 Mark 18 clone, Scar 17S. So that's my 308 with a LCAN on it, LCAN 1 to 6, so I can take my battlefield out to 800 yards. Again, it's 308, and then I have a SIG 320 in a Raider, in a Flux Defense Raider, which actually Alex just ordered for me the other day.
Well, I'm waiting because they're back out of stock, so I'm
God,
waiting
those
for them to
things
come
are
back.
popular. Why are they so popular?
They
Can you
are
help me?
amazing. I shot it one the
I
other
know.
day. I freaking love it. And with a WIT Mod 1 suppressor on that 9mm SIG 320. I would much rather have a Glock, but they don't make the Raider for the Glock. So then we get to Krystal. Krystal, are you making any changes?
I feel like my choices are like extremely practical.
Yeah,
They are. Don't be-
Like
Don't
they're
worry
not
about your
sexy
choices.
at all.
Well, sexy
but
is a voting
I'm
requirement, but it's okay.
I'm sticking with
You're going to stick
all
to
of
your
my,
guns?
I'm
Are you gonna stick to
sticking
your
to my
guns?
guns
She
and
picked
my
the
shopping
A12.
cart.
First time that phrase has actually made sense in my life.
It's true.
I think we just found the name of this podcast. Stick to your guns. Ruger 1022, AA12.
Yes.
That's sexy.
Full auto. That is sexy. You're
Yeah,
right.
the AA12 is sexy.
Glock 17. That's trans. And,
That's the Bruce Jenner of firearms.
and an AR-10 mounted to a shopping cart.
Yeah, that one you got the
Okay,
creative factor.
let
and the
me
wow
remind
factor.
you, originally you said you have to be able to carry this and your ammo. So I'm thinking I got to carry all four of these guns as well as the ammo. Like, how much ammo can I really carry on top of
okay.
all four of these guns?
You
So
are a woman. You should go shopping in the apocalypse.
Actually, okay, the shopping cart idea was actually from, what's that apocalyptic movie where there's a woman?
Walking Dead.
Zombie
Oh, no, it's neither of those. The woman, she's pushing a shopping cart and she's like crying, and she's actually the bait for this guy. So this guy goes to see if she's okay, and then a bunch of guys come out and surround him.
If anybody knows what she's talking about, leave it in the app. We'll try to figure it out before the next show. We're almost out of time. Alex came, he just changed a 240 Bravo L to a Mark 48 308 squad machine gun, a Barrett MRAD 300 Win Mag, pushing his battlefield way the hell out there, an 11.556 with an LPVO, and an MP5K PDW from Heckler & Koch. And then, of course, we heard from FDE today with his 1022 steel sights, AR-9 Glock, mags, solar-powered dot smart on that one. A DRD Tactical, both 300 and 5.56 conversion barrels with a Vortex 1-8, and a CZ75 SPO1. So next week, we will put together an actual bracketed challenge, and we will spend the first half of the show voting it out and seeing who's and any one of all four of our guns could make it into the final four.
Wait, so how are people voting?
People can vote in the app. We want to hear your comments. What are your four guns? Just put your four guns in there. You know, maybe one of us will want to make an emergency change of our mind. Who knows? But
Why are you
check it out
looking
next
at me?
week. We got to go. Drew's about to kick me under the table. We got to go.